I'm going to show you how to find the center of a circle. So I need to figure out exactly where to drill out a hole for these so that I don't have these wheels wobbling all over the place when Kai's trying to move this train around. So I measure over, I like to do whole numbers here. So I measured 1 inch from one edge to the other, and I'm just going to draw a line across, and then I'm going to put a little mark at the 1/2 inch point. And then I'm going to put a line anywhere else on here, and I'm going to stick to that 1 inch mark just to make things easy. You could do any distance, it does not have to be an inch. And I'm going to mark that 1/2 inch mark there. And here's kind of the cool part. If you take a square and you line it up with that line that you just made, where the corner of it is right at that 1/2 mark, and you draw that line all the way across your piece for one. I don't know how well you can see this. So I just lined up my square on the first line I drew, just like this, and then drew a straight line across with the point of the square right at that halfway point. And here you can see my 1/2 inch mark right there. So I'm going to set my square just like this, where the point is at that 1/2 inch mark and the bottom is flat on that line, and draw that line across. Hopefully you could see that a little bit better. Now where those two lines just intersected, don't ask me how. I'm not a math guy, but that is going to be the absolute center of our wheel or any circle. And you could draw these lines anywhere on this wheel or circle and you'll get this same result. The next thing I wanted to talk about is, this is probably the most thought-provoking part of this project, was how am I going to get these wheels so that they don't fall off when Kai is hot rodding around the kitchen with this. I also need them to spin freely. So they need to be on there sturdy, they need to spin freely, and they all have to be lined up. And what I came up with is I had a couple of these hooks that you put into pegboards laying around. So I cut those up on our chop saw and made 4 axles. Okay, well, I only need 3 actually. There was 2 on each peg, but I only need 3 of these. And my plan is to drill all the way through the chassis and then halfway through each wheel. Okay, so I'm going to feed this through the chassis and then epoxy it into this wheel, and then put a bunch of graphite powder on this shaft, so this whole rod will spin, and it'll be like a differential lock on a vehicle, right? These wheels will spin together because both ends will be epoxied into the axle. Hopefully it works. All right, so I've got this all glued up now, the cab, I don't know if you want to call it the hood of it, all to the main frame here. I just got to finish drilling out one more hole for the front axle and then the rear axle as well. So I'm going to get on to that as soon as that glue dries, but everything's been going pretty well. So this is the only part that I'm kind of worried about with this whole process, but I think I got it down. So what I did is I propped up the train on these tires on their side like this so that I have an equal clearance on the front and on the back. And I actually set the tire up, whoops, right where I wanted it to go like this, and traced around it. And then I set the smaller ones up front so that they're all touching the ground at the same time, right? Traced around all of them, and I used that exact same method to find the center of the circle again on the actual train. And then I used my center punch to keep that bit from wandering. So I'm hoping that these center points, I added these axles here just because these holes were kind of at the bottom of the chassis. So I'm hoping that it all sits flat, all the wheels are touching at the same time, and that they all roll in the end. Choo choo.